Welcome to the Intersection Magazine podcast. This week we are in Nairobi, Kenya at the East Africa Com. And we will be sharing some insights from key people we met at the event. And my guest today is Icolo, the digital reality company. We're the first carrier-neutral provider in East Africa. They have offices in Kenya and Mozambique. And I met the team through some connections that go back quite a number of years. And so I got an opportunity to talk to the sales director, Sajid Vayani, as well as the marketing manager, Murage Gishuki. So today, that's really what's going to be the focus of our conversation. I'm interested in what they do in terms of the services that they're providing, the reach of their company, and how you can network with them or get access to their services. And so for this week, we're covering or trying to get perspectives in terms of what exists in the Kenyan ecosystem to cover our work that we've been doing now for a while. But this probably next few months are going to be focused on Kenya. So I hope that you enjoy this episode. Thank you. Okay, so tell us about Icolo. What does Icolo do?
Sure. Thank you for having us on, Nicholas.
Yes.
So the way to describe Icolo data centers, simply put, is we are what we refer to as the first carrier-neutral data center within Kenya, and more specifically within East and Central Africa. The company started in 2015, and sort of one of the first visions we had was to open a neutral facility. And at the time, when I joined the industry, I didn't have an understanding of the industry. I was just fresh on from university, and so just watching the company grow, I was asking our CEO, like, what's the benefit of having a neutral data center? And at the time, predominantly within Kenya and, well, most East and Central African countries, a lot of the data centers that had launched were telecom owned. Right? So they belonged to telecom providers who provided connectivity, cloud service, infrastructure as a service, all bundled into one package. And so the problem with that is if you're a customer that maybe has businesses in any of those verticals, if you're hosting in a data center that does all those services, it's a landlord competing with a tenant, simply put. So if you're a cloud provider and you go to a data center operator that also does cloud, they're basically monopolizing the environment. Any requests that come for cloud services, connectivity services, they will never sort of give you that. And if we look at what's happening with the rest of the world, most of them have transitioned to a neutral facility where the data center operator purely focuses on co-location services, which is power, space, cooling, and security. And so at the time, I was like, okay, fine, that concept makes sense. That's something we should do and sell. I was like, okay, fine, let's go and open up a data center in Nairobi. And our CEO was like, no, we're not doing Nairobi. I'm like, what do you mean? Nairobi is the Silicon Savannah of East Africa. It's where everyone is. He's like, no, we're going to Mombasa. And I was like, why Mombasa? Right? Who's in Mombasa? So another education sort of platform came in. And if you look at East Africa as a whole, Mombasa is actually the gateway hub. First of all, from a port perspective, from a business perspective, East Africa receives a lot of commodities through Mombasa. But if you look at it from a connectivity front, all our undersea cables first land in Mombasa, and then through terrestrial fiber make their way out as far out as Burundi. But Mombasa is the gateway point. And so what we thought now was, if we open a neutral facility in Mombasa, we then speak to all the connectivity providers, all the subsea cables who are now in telco-based sites, and ask them to come to a neutral site and tell them, look, we will not get involved in the connectivity business, we will only lease you space. That means any Tom, Dick and Harry who starts an ISP who wants to talk to the end user, being the subsea capacity provider, will not have to go through a middleman charge, which was basically what was happening for the longest time. And it was a bit of a chicken and egg discussion where we had to go, and I remember for the longest time walking around with a data center model that probably weighed as half as me through airports, trying to pitch this idea. And finally, what happened was a lot of the providers saw the end game, saying that, okay, right now, if we want to talk to subsea capacity providers, we are paying thousands and thousands of dollars just to speak to them. What if we move to a neutral facility where that middle cost is no longer there? It's $100 cross-connect and we can talk to whoever we want. And slowly but surely, all the providers started coming towards us. And what ended up happening was we got one provider And now in our Mombasa facility, we have 63 providers. Not only from Kenya, but from Dar es Salaam, from Mauritius, from Uganda, all of them transitioning to pick up capacity from a neutral place. And so Mombasa really did put us on the map. And so that was obviously an education curve for me to learn what it means to create a facility in a pivotal location. But if you come to think about it, what Icolo does is real estate. We sell high-tech real estate. But then what we're doing is we're selling it to specific consumers, movers and shakers in the industry market. So with the number of eyeballs that eventually launched there, what ended up happening is people started taking notice in the internet world, in the sphere of things, that there's a particular data center in East Africa that has a lot of traffic going through it. And that attracted the OTTs, the CDNs, the ones which you use on your phones every day. And they then establish POPs within our facilities. And you know what happens is ultimately they're looking to get to as many eyeballs as possible. When you have 63 networks in a certain location, that's a fairly decent market share to enter into and tap into. And so Mombasa definitely put us on the map, but obviously Nairobi was a facility we were looking at because Nairobi is, again, the craft silicon in East Africa. A lot of the financial enterprises, international media houses, enterprise customers, banks, and so on and so forth, all have their presence here. So we then, 2 years later, actually it was about 3 years if I'm not mistaken, in 2020 we launched Nairobi 1, which is similar spec as our Mombasa site. These are tier 3 data centers, 300 racks plus each of them. We then, I guess we can fast forward 2 years later, and we launched our Mombasa 2 facility because Mombasa 2 the uptake was quite significant with a new cable landing in our sites. I mean, so in a nutshell, in Kenya, that's what we did. We've been selling spaces, we've been partnering, or maybe partnering is not the right word, but we've been working with a lot of the players to create these connectivity ecosystems in Eastern Africa. And then later down the line, I believe we launched Maputo this year, which also plays sort of into our Eastern and Central Africa expansion. We're also part of a larger group called Digital Realty, which has data centers all across the globe. We're a full subsidiary of them. They have presence through us in Kenya, through Medallion data centers in Nigeria, and Terraco, which is, I guess, the de facto data center operator in Africa. Digital Realty has a majority, if I'm not mistaken, stake in them, and so we're present. Our footprint is basically present all over Africa.
So, Sajid, tell us a little bit about co-location services. What does that involve?
So basically, if I were to describe co-location services, it's literally co-locating your service to a facility. I can break it down in two parts. So if you look at one segment of the market, which is the enterprise, financial, cloud, infrastructure as a service providers in Kenya, a lot of the data centers that these banks, insurance companies had built were probably around maybe 5 to 10 years ago. And what they slowly realized is that maintaining a data center is another set of skills, completely separate from what they're doing. So for the longest time, the question was, we're a bank, for example. Our core competency is banking. Why are our IT team running around looking for cooling solutions? Why is there no fuel in the generator? Why are our engineers running to put fuel on the side? And so what co-location does is, from Icolo's perspective, is we take that headache away from you. We manage the infrastructure, which is the facility. We keep the power on, we keep the cooling on, we keep the security at an all-time high, so that you can focus on your core competency, is whichever industry you're doing, in this case, in wine banking. And so what we realize is a lot of banks, a lot of customers, and worldwide, the model is, fine, let us offset our data centers to a lease model where we're putting it within a colo facility. They then manage the entire infrastructure for us, and we can then focus on our core competency. So that's one segment of the market. The other segment of the market is now the connectivity, the content providers. You see, ultimately, if you create a facility for a lot of people to be able to freely talk with each other, what happens is you create an ecosystem which people can tap into.
Okay.
So yes, we are selling the connectivity player space, we are selling the content player space, but ultimately what we're trying to do is create an ecosystem where they can freely talk to each other.
Okay.
And that's basically how the internet spreads. So in the case of Safaricom, for example, today, Safaricom is present at all our facilities. And if you use their services today, you get free WhatsApp whenever you buy data. And what's the reason behind that is because the WhatsApp servers are somewhere sitting in a data center where they're tapping into through the likes of Meta. And so ultimately what we're trying to do is connect players together. So it's not our direct job, but even when we sell to the end customer, we're very selective with who we approach to eventually then create a better internet connectivity ecosystem within the region. So one of the questions is, why should the internet experience in Europe be very different to the internet experience in Kenya? And for the longest time, a lot of the servers that we're tapping into for all the social media platforms were never hosted within the region. They were always outside the continent. And what we do is when we create these facilities with a lot of these internet providers and a lot of these eyeballs, it attracts the likes of the social media companies to come and place their footprint here.
Okay.
So that the reason is when you're now watching a TikTok video, the services are cached in Kenya.
Okay.
And it costs you less to access them. So ultimately, that's sort of what we try and do. Is yes, we sell real estate space, provide you high levels of uptime, but we're also builders of connectivity ecosystems and content ecosystems.
Thank you very much, Sajid. Murage, marketing manager, tell us a little bit about what you do for Icolo.
Okay, my name is Murage. I am the marketing manager at Icolo. Of course, one of the things that we focus on doing for Icolo, which is a brand name, it's been there for a couple of years, since 2015, is to create brand awareness, of the brand. Make sure that the market knows what we're doing. The market is still quite new. There are not very many players in the market. So especially as a leading carrier in neutral data center, we've got to position ourselves continuously to just be able to show our clients what the benefit is of coming to Icolo. Of course, we also support the sales department primarily. We do that by just making sure that the sales department also has material, just be able to talk to customers, support them in their meetings, especially when customers also need to talk about their services when they're within the data centers. So we do that from that perspective. So there's brand awareness, making sure that the brand is known. There's PR also, which we do PR and communications with my colleague Eugene. And just making sure that also the sales team is supported. For example, like an event like EA, this East Africa Com, that they have the material, that they have the ability to just whatever they need to be able to reach out to customers, that we have all that material ready for them, and that they can be able to just easily sell.
They make us look good, basically.
Incidentally, I'm also curious in terms of like your hiring. Are you, what are your practices? What does the space look like in terms of job opportunities? What are you looking for? What skills?
Primarily, Icolo is an engineering firm.
Yes. It's not a tech firm.
It's an engineering firm, and I think more than 50% of our staff are engineers. Even probably higher.
Maybe 70%.
Yeah, actually probably about 70% are actually engineers. So mechanical engineers, electrical engineers. They are the bulk of Icolo, and they might not be seen, they're not customer facing, but without them, we don't have a data center. We don't have the continuous connectivity that happens. And a data centers like ours, there are a lot of customers who come in, any of our data centers who come in on a daily basis to check out the equipment, to install new equipment. That is where now the engineering team actually really support the business primarily.
Okay, so, thank you. Thank you very much, Murage and Sajid, for your time. A lot to learn from brief conversation. Thank you for your work and for services that you're providing and the space that you're creating in the ecosystem. I hope that we can meet some more and probably talk a bit more about some more of what you're doing. Tell us a little bit more about how people can get in touch with your company. What are your socials? What are your current location, for example, in Kenya? Give us more about that information, please.
Okay, we're happy to do so. Our socials, start with our socials. Those are channels that we primarily use. LinkedIn is our main channel.
Okay.
And our social is icolo.io. If you just type in icolo.io on LinkedIn, you'll find it. Same for Facebook, same for Twitter. Those are our three main channels that we distribute our information, whether it's PR releases, whether it's talking about what we're doing, whether it's the events that we do, or even supporting the sales team, or even actually putting out information to customers about what we do, about colocation. We are, of course, continuing to push our channels, so we'll be going to more channels. We also have a YouTube channel, definitely, and that's where a lot of the videos, especially people who want to learn about Icolo, what we do, about our staff, about our people who work at Icolo, about our culture. There are a couple of videos that we've put up in a couple of years, even this year, and about also our DCs.
Okay.
Our main office is in Kenya right now. Our main, we operate right now. Myself, I sit at the current office, so that is where our Nairobi NBO1 is, or Nairobi Data Center is. We sit there. We also have now our first data center, which is Miritini in Mombasa. That's Mombasa 1, and we have Mombasa 2 also, which is our second, our second data center in Mombasa that we launched. That is now in Nyali.
Okay.
Third data center is Maputo, and it's right in the capital of Maputo. But if you need to reach us, you could reach us actually on sales@icolo.io.
Okay.
If you need to reach the sales director, or if you just need to reach out for general inquiry, you can always reach out on our LinkedIn pages, on Twitter pages, on our Facebook pages. We are active. We answer questions. Most of the time, if it's a technical questions, we direct it to the sales team or the engineering team, and you always get an answer.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone would also like to come and see the facilities,
yes,
whether it's in Mombasa, Nairobi, Maputo, please let us know. I mean, at www.icolo.io. The contact section is a way to get in touch with all of us, request a facility tour. We also, for the international listeners, if they do want to see the caliber of our facilities, we do actually have virtual platforms where we can walk customers through, potential customers through. It's sort of like a Google Maps for data centers.
Okay.
And you can sort of check each and every section out of the data center. So happy to do that too.
Yeah, it's a great tool that the sales team actually uses, which is perfect for customers who can't actually come and do a physical tour.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for featuring on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.